Thank you, Presiding Officer. I too want to thank Megan Gallagher for securing this debate and bringing everyone together tonight. And I want to join her in paying tribute to all those campaigners and families in Caithness and Murray and indeed in Lanarkshire, which I will focus on in my remarks. I know that Megan Gallagher feels this very personally as a mum who just gave birth to her baby girl in Wishaw just last year. My daughter was born in the same hospital, not last year, but 17 years ago. And a few years ago, Richard Leonard and I had a really lovely special visit to the hospital so we could go there and meet staff and listen to them, those working in maternity and in neonatal. And on that visit, and to my surprise, I was reunited with my midwife, and she gave me the biggest hug, and I was just very kind of humbled that she remembered me. But a lovely chat, because I mentioned in my speech earlier on that for those families who've had the experience in neonatal, it does feel like family. They do feel that there is genuine love and compassion and care, and that continuity of care is really important. I made the mistake of sitting behind Mark Griffin earlier today. It was very moving. I agree with Graham Simpson. And Mark and his family have been so open about their struggles, and that has helped other families, particularly in relation to the financial support that Mark's campaigning helped to secure. But we've heard a lot today about mitigation, the support people might be able to get if this goes ahead. We can prevent this trauma from happening, and that is the whole point here. And Mark Griffin has had to leave for this debate. Rosa and he's picked up from Rainbows tonight, but I think we'd all welcome that, and we wouldn't grudge Rosa her Rainbows experience. The Minister knows that I chaired the cross-party group on women's health. I'm very passionate about women's health. I make no apology for that. But I think the points about the impact on women, the birth trauma that Douglas Ross has addressed, there's so many issues here that affect women, but also dads, partners, family units. And it can have lifelong impact. It doesn't need to be like that. And I have to say, I'm quite jealous of Jenny Minto. She's probably got one of the best jobs in government, to be the Minister for Public Health and Women's Health. But you're sitting there as a lonely figure tonight, Minister, but we don't want you to be alone with this. We don't want you to be burdened with this terrible dilemma. People want to help. The people in the gallery want to help. Our communities, they know what they're talking about and they want to help. And I have to say, I would quite like Richard Leonard to be the Minister that's looking at this, because he went through things forensically. These are the questions that ministers need to ask of civil servants and clinicians. We have to be forensic. We have to get to the bottom of this. And I think Carol Mockin earlier on was very, very clear about this. She hit it on the head. Where is the transparency? Where are all the documents? NHS Lanarkshire were not even properly at the table. And that's a point that the Royal College of Midwives have made in their briefings. There's not a lot of time left, and I hope that Colette Stevenson does ask her business manager to get a proper debate in here, because parents in the gallery tonight have messaged me and said, what does this actually mean? What did that vote actually do? Well, that vote was to endorse the downgrading, and that's not what people want, and we're going to live to regret this, Minister. As we've heard from some of the families that have been mentioned throughout the afternoon, there can be significant long-term complications linked to prematurity and babies who need that neonatal care. Being able to go back to your local hospital and see those familiar faces, to have that institutional knowledge that Richard Leonard talked about, money can't buy that. So yes, it is a dark plan. This downgrading will be dangerous, but it's not too late, Minister. We can stop it. And what I wanted to ask when the Minister didn't take interventions earlier on is, when did the Minister last go to University Hospital Wishaw? When did she last visit the neonatal unit and speak to the staff and try and walk in their shoes and try and understand? Because you can't sit behind a desk or in this Parliament and write them off. Please listen, they are award-winning for a reason.